Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another exciting episode on the show, a podcast designed to help you start thinking differently and take control of your life. And as always, I remain your host, Darlington. My guest today is Kirill Schmidt. I hope I got your name correctly.
Yep.
All right, so I would like you to introduce yourself briefly to my audience.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Kirill Schmidt. I'm head of data in US company. And for whole my career, I'm doing data analytics and data engineering for different companies. So I already worked in SaaS, EdTech, MedTech, FinTech companies, developed business intelligence from scratch and help managers, middle management, and C-level to make decisions properly using data.
All right, thank you so much. We live in a world overflowing with data. Companies collect more information than ever before, invest millions in analytics and AI, and build dashboards for almost everything. Yet many businesses still make poor decisions. Why? Our guest today has spent more than a decade helping organizations answer that question as a head of data. They have built analytics, business intelligence, AI, and data science solutions across industries including AdTech, FinTech, MedTech, SaaS, and IoT. Their focus isn't just on technology, it's on helping leaders make better decisions. Today we'll explore why so many AI projects fail, what it really means to be data-driven, and how business can build a culture of smarter decision making where AI creates genuine business value instead of expensive hype. Once again, Kirill, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
So tell us about your journey. How did you become head of data and what drew you into this field?
So I might say that it started from the university or maybe even before, because I always was curious about the world. I kind of always tend to be interested in math and physics from school time. So because, I don't know, discover how things works was fascinating for me. And to do that, you need math and you need to understand be able to model the world. That's why I end up in the university in physics department. But then I graduated from the university. I have understood that I do not want to go into science field. I want to do this using math and my understanding how to model the world in business. And that's how I end up to be a data analyst in a FinTech company, where I was doing finance modeling and prediction what's going to happen with the change our prices and kind of what kind of outcomes happens if we do marketing campaign. So that's the way how I kind of started to be in this career, and now I'm working more than 12 years in data area. I just developed myself from being just analyst and individual contributor to person who is responsible for whole data process. Kind of happens gradually. At some point, well, kind of gradually and not gradually, because that's quite big step and hard step usually in career to jump from being an individual contributor to being a manager. But I had kind of a couple of friends who trusted in me and who give me the whole project how to be, in which I was building BI from scratch in medical company. So that's was my first step in management. And now it's just development. You just change company, find new opportunity where I am already in responsibility of whole process.
Okay, thank you so much. So you often say that companies don't have a data problem, they have a decision-making problem. What do you mean by that?
Could you repeat?
You often say that companies don't have a data problem. They have a decision-making problem. What do you
Yeah,
mean by that?
yeah. So we already live in a world where we collect quite a lot of data. And for many companies, they either they have really easy access to collect the data, even if they do not do it. So usually in majority of cases, it's not problem of collection. It's more like problem of transforming this data into something valuable. And even with big companies which have full-scale pipelines and transformation processes, they end up in looking into endless amount of dashboards. And middle management, basically, they start their day, and even C-level, start their day by looking at some kind of reports and not understanding what should they do with them. Because they have tons of parameters and some kind of information on this topic, on that topic, which doesn't give them clear instruction what should be done today, or maybe where should we go in general. So that's what I mean when we're talking about lack of kind of ability to execute. And if you have this tons of random dashboards, usually it means that people regress to old ways of doing things. You just don't look at the dashboards. If you cannot understand what information it's giving to you, if you cannot, I mean, like, not because you're stupid, you cannot understand it. It's because kind of it's too much, and you do not understand how it's relevant to the problems which you're solving every day. So I'm talking about this mismatch. If you do not understand like how this dashboard is helping me, you just gonna silently sabotage all this stuff and still gonna make decision based on your feelings rather than data-driven decision.
Okay, so what's the difference between being data-driven and being decision-driven?
So in data-driven and decision-driven, well, for me, it's like synonyms in a way, because to make decisions, you need information. So I have this kind of mental model that good manager is kind of collecting evidence from different sources. Some of them are their personal knowledge and understanding of the industry. The other one is his or her personal examples of what's going on. I don't know, talks with peers, talks with clients, talks with engineers who is talking about problems inside the process. And the third part is real data and statistics. And if you kind of collect everything and then judge on it in all complexity, this is kind of data-driven decision making. You can always do your decisions without data part. You just can have your own feeling and your own previous expertise and talks with clients, and that's gonna create biased decisions in many cases. Because usually if you do not see the full picture, you cannot see the full picture, especially in a big company, because you cannot meet all the clients. You cannot weight the evidence in a proper way to understand what's the most important thing and what is the least important. Like I have an example, then now I'm working for IoT company. We are detecting water leaks in apartments by installing water meters. And so we have a quite complicated algorithm, which has like 15 criteria how we detect the leaks. And common problem which we have inside the team, that we start to discuss leak criteria which are too small actually in the terms of big picture. That's why my counterparts not always look at data to understand that they're actually discussing very unimportant problem. Like you have one leak reason which covers 40% of portfolio, and then the other leak reasons which is contributing only less than 1%. And we could spend quite a lot of talks about things which are just 1% of the business. That's why kind of data is important to make decisions.
Okay, so you have worked across AdTech, FinTech, MedTech, and SaaS and IoT. What lessons about leadership and decision making apply across every industry?
I would say that for every industries, it's hard to build a mental model of the company. And that's kind of the most valuable thing, I would say. So you can imagine that your company is a set of processes, and you can visualize them, you can describe them, and you can assign specific metric to each step. So this is kind of the lack of this mental model is the common problem for many businesses. That's happened not because of some malevolence of different people, but because we inherently work in, we kind of divide our labor into departments, and everybody's taking care about their part. And that's why they kind of forget about big picture. And then it happens that maybe no one actually has a big picture in their mind. And that's how this total map of what's going on in the company become lost. And then even if people on the middle level pull some kind of data, they cannot create coherent picture, and they cannot coordinate their actions between each other, and they cannot understand like how my metric going to influence the whole process in the company. So I feel like this is a quite common problem. This is kind of organization of management in a way that every part of the company is coherent, and they actually understand connections between them. And not only understand on the level of like qualitative level, like, yes, I'm doing sales, and then it means that somebody on production level should execute my orders. But I mean, like on quantitative level, like how much, what's the tensions between us? What's conversion rates? How much of clients I'm pushing down the line? What's the service level in this department for these clients? What's kind of percent of times then clients request for money back. So stuff like this.
Wonderful. So tell us what separates high-performing data teams from teams that spend all their time producing reports no one uses.
Could you repeat again?
Tell us what separates high-performing data teams from teams that spend all their time producing reports no one uses.
Yeah. So it's two-way road. On one hand, it's work on stakeholder side to, if they have this kind of mental model of the business, then they can formulate what they need to operate and what kind of data they need to make decisions. And I would say that the best in the ultimate state is that best report is a report which does not exist. Because in the best world, if you have a report and you know how to analyze it and you know how to extract call to actions out of it, you don't need a report. You need an analytic system which just generates these signals automatically. So reports comes in, automatic system kind of extract the signal and highlight and kind of send message to person who need to react on this. So you don't need even to look at this dashboard or report. That's in the best case scenario. And it's from stakeholder side. So if they can formulate what should be done and they have this model of the business, then they will have half of the work done to make their data teams efficient. And the second part from the data team side is that they should have their own initiative and their willingness to understand what business is doing, and they should be ready to push back in case if they are asking for some irrelevant things or maybe not valuable things. So basically it should be a team. On one hand, stakeholders should push for right questions, but sometimes people do mistakes, and then analytics must push back and correct them in a way that they together can create meaningful things. And another part for data team is to have proper discipline and proper processes in how they're making their work. I'm always kind of inspired by work in science, or for example, some kind of medical lab, to achieve good results or to achieve any results in experimental part. you need to follow strict protocols how you're doing this. So the same in data, you need to have strict protocols and procedures and technology to gather data correctly, clean data correctly, process it correctly, extract it to reports, extract it to some kind of ad hoc research. In each case, you need to be transparent and have discipline and have everything in place to not to introduce some kind of errors and problems in this research. So you basically need to know how to do your stuff.
All right. So, thank you so much, Craig. So, for companies just beginning their AI journey, how can they identify projects that are most likely to deliver a real return on investment?
So I would say that don't go just for a hype. So one of the most problematic things, yesterday I was on a product meetup in London, and so we were discussing this. It's common pain kind of in many companies where CEO or maybe high-level stakeholders, they just request for AI no matter what. And this is the worst way how you can formulate this problem. Because it's end up into doing something usually not really useful or relevant. And that's why 95% of AI projects fails. The thing is that the AI is not a magic box. It's still some kind of system which need to be implemented and deployed. And so if you try to automate or maybe deploy any kind of system without understanding how it's going to improve your business, it's not going to give you any value. So it's not kind of self-adapting things which you can sprinkle over your business and it's going to improve your revenue somehow. It still should be same thoughtful process. You need to understand if you have this kind of mental model of your business and you understand your processes, you can go to the market and find use cases how AI was adopted for these processes and how AI could improve them. So you kind of map your processes on best use cases in the industry and create this kind of cross between them. So you could estimate what kind of impact you might have in your company if you deploy AI in your business. So, like automate answers in call center, like make them more humane and more in time and kind of give your clients better sense of touch. This is kind of good working example. Then maybe there's other process, like you want to automate something in using AI, in your accounting, or maybe you want to introduce some, if you do lead scoring, so maybe you want to introduce some kind of description for the salesperson, why this lead is valuable, something like this. So you end up with the list of initiatives, your process list of initiatives, and how you think that's going to impact your business. And then you need to calculate your costs, and that's how you're going to have cost-benefit analysis. Rank them by the best proportion ratio between costs and benefits, and pick up the best projects. So this is kind of analytical answer. Just analyze it and pick the best. Yeah, you fell off for a couple of seconds.
Yeah, I'm on now. Okay.
Yeah. So
yeah, go on.
I have finished my thought.
Okay. So looking ahead, Kirill, how do you see AI changing executive leadership and business strategy over the next 5 years?
There is a discussion in the area that maybe we should replace we should not replace individual contributor with AI, but maybe we should replace leadership with AI. Because if your leadership just generating PowerPoint and work as just as a translator back and forth between individual contributor and C-level and shareholders, maybe we do not need this middle management. So I feel like the whole industry going to be shaken, and whole industry of decision making going to be shaken. because we would find out that we can solve much more problems with less people and less people in management. And also that we can automate much more things which was available before. So it's kind of, I feel like there's going to be a huge increase in productivity. And also what I see that we see more and more small companies which can do work of big companies. So there's going to be much more competition, and big companies need to start make decisions faster and smarter. Otherwise, they're going to be outcompeted by some solo entrepreneurs, or maybe, so now you can have and build huge product having just five people. 5 years ago, you need 50 people to do the same job, because now you need somebody like founder, salesperson, CTO, and designer, and maybe accountant. Like, that's enough to run functional business right now. Because everything else is going to be done by agents and by AI stuff. So there's going to be huge changes in structure of business and how we're going to make decisions.
Okay, so if you became a CEO tomorrow, what are the first 3 changes you will make to improve decision making across organizations?
Yeah, I would start with this mental model of the business. Like, I have example of mental model for medical center. So you can say that a medical center is doing like selling consultations for clients, or doing surgery or selling drugs to patients. But kind of one of the ideas how you can think of the medical business is that you have set of limitations. Like usually you have physical facility where your doctors are located, and you need to put these doctors into these facilities, and you need to match it with the demand from your patients. And the problematic part that every doctor has their own specialization. They need their own type of cabinet in many cases. So like surgeon cannot do his work in cabinet of the therapist. And also typically doctors have complicated schedule. So in the end, your medical business is about putting doctors into cabinets. And this is your mental model. So how optimally you kind of manage these schedules, cabinets, and patients. So, and I feel like every CEO in their company should start from building such a business model in their head for their own business. If you have this business model, then you can start to add metrics onto it. So you now can measure like what percentage of cabinets are free, how kind of good is fit between our cabinets and schedules of the doctors. Are there mismatch in terms of patient demand compared to our structure of our cabinets in our facilities? So you can set up metrics, and you can understand where you have deficiencies and where you have the biggest leverage to improve something. And then you need to deploy kind of operational excellence to increase quality of these things. So I would say this is the recipe. And well, I would say also the fourth part, which is quite important for CEO, is about strategy. Like outside this operational efficiency, you should have understanding where you're going and how you want to improve your business parameters outside business as usual. So this is kind of the most challenging part. Well, maybe not the most challenging part. Operational efficiency and excellence is also super challenging part. And we see that quite a lot of businesses are failing to just deliver the things which they are promising you. So these four ideas.
Okay. Thank you so much. So my final question for you is this. Is there a question you wish I would have asked you that I have not asked you?
We can say like how small business can utilize AI to boost their productivity. I would say that maybe I feel like the people who are listening to us, not CEOs per se in huge corporations. So to kind of down this question to their level, I would ask myself this question: how can I increase my own productivity using AI tools, and how can I increase my business productivity using AI tools? So first, I would start to think about AI as an automation tool first. So it means like you need to think what kind of routine I would wish to delegate to somebody, or maybe which kind of routine I hate, and can I formulate this routine as some algorithm, how to do it. So kind of how can I explain it to somebody else how to do this specific thing. And then I would go and Google, or maybe ask Gemini or ChatGPT, doesn't matter. Can I do it with the agent? And you could be surprised that in many cases, if you have your structured idea how to do this job properly and how to validate the result, you can actually delegate it to the agent. Like some kind of search, writing on things, maybe checking tables, checking accounting things, stuff like that. And you would find out that you can unload quite a lot of routine to the agents, and you're going to save money on hiring people. So this is going to boost your productivity. This is going to decrease number of errors, what you're doing. AI is not that good in sales per se. So, I mean, like it's bad at having pitch sales, but it's good into automation and fighting with the routine. So you can do more productive things without this routine.
Okay, thank you. I always love to give my guests the platform to make sure they share everything they want to share with me and my audience. That's why I asked you that particular questions.
Yep.
So thank you for joining us and sharing practical insights from the world of data, analytics, and AI. Today's conversation reminds us that technology alone doesn't create better businesses. Better thinking, better questions, and better decisions do. Data and AI are powerful tools, but their value comes from helping leaders solve meaningful problems, not simply generating more information. So for those who would like to connect with you and learn more about what you do, how can they do that?
So thank you.
So I said, for those who would like to connect with you and learn more about what you do, how can they do that?
They can find me on LinkedIn. So I will send you link to my profile. So Kirill Schmidt, head of data. You can find me there, and you can write me and discuss data questions. We can have a talk about it.
All right, thank you so much. And thank you all for listening to this episode of Control or Be Controlled. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone looking to cut through the AI hype and make smarter business decisions. Until next time, remember, don't let data control your decisions. Learn how to use it wisely and stay in control. Thank you so much, Kirill, for coming to my show.
Thank you for inviting me.
And I hope you had a wonderful day on the show.
Yep.
All right, thank you, and have a wonderful day ahead.
Yep.
And I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye, guys. Thank you, Kirill.
Bye.